You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Thanks for selling your car to Carvana. Here's your check.
Whoa, when did I get here?
What do you mean?
I swear it was just moments ago that I accepted a great offer from Carvana online. I must have time traveled to the future.
It was just moments ago. We do same-day pickup. Here's your check for that great offer.
It is the future.
It's the present and just the convenience of Carvana. Sorry to blow your mind.
It's all good. Happens all the time.
Sell your car the convenient way to
Carvana.
Pickup times may vary and fees may apply.
If you wouldn't say it to your best friend, don't say it to yourself.
Educate, empower, enable, impact. Thank you for tuning in to That Will Never Work, an award-winning podcast where we share inspiring information and personal experiences related to business and the entrepreneurial journey from those who are leaders in their respective field. Now, here's your host, author and business coach, Maurice.
Thank you very much for listening today. So, if you want to say it to your best friend, don't say it to yourself. What does that mean? So, when your best friend comes to you and talks to you about, I want to get this new job. Now, would you tell your best friend that they're not qualified? Your best friend comes to you and says, hey, I want to date this particular person. Would you say to them, that person's out of your league? How would you encourage your best friend to, even if you felt like they were not ready for that situation, how would you approach them? How would you encourage them? How would you build up their confidence? So a lot of times we talk ourselves out of a certain situation when it comes to us growing personally. I want you to understand that the voice in your head matters. And that voice, you might need to start to coach it and revise it just a little bit. I need you to reconsider replacing that negative self-talk with affirming, truth-based understanding, language that reinforces your growth. A lot of times we don't do that. We talk ourselves and say, hey, we can't do X, Y, and Z because of what? So when we take a look at a job posting, again, I'll speak for myself, and I would say, I can't apply for this particular job because of the educational level, the requirements for education. And this is a true story. Before I had gotten into hospital contracts, the job itself originally required for me to have a master's degree. At that time, I wasn't even in school. kind of started, but wasn't really in school. Then what was provided to me was some information. Maurice, go from customer service to provider services. Okay, I did that. I had to be open-minded enough to say I can do that. And then now I am in provider services, and guess what? That job opens up again. And then at that particular time, I'm saying, Maurice, let's go and reapply for this position. We reapplied. Now, this particular time, the job does not require a master's degree. It just requires a bachelor's degree. But guess what? Once again, I'm in school, but I don't have that degree. And when I get into this position, in all honesty, I didn't receive a degree until 10 years later from when I started that position. See, I had confidence enough to know that I can do the job, even though there were some parts of that I did not meet up to. I was confident enough to say, I can overcome what are my perceived shortcomings because I knew that I could do the job. When I read the description, I'm like, hey, I could do everything else. So just like you would do for your best friend and say, hey, fill out the application anyway. If nothing else, you can interview for the job and learn something and understand what it would take for you to get to that point. So you may not get the job itself, what you think is the ultimate goal, but really what it is, you're learning something. You're still getting something out of it. So let's not shortchange a situation that even though we know that we may not get it, but we still get something from it. We still win in that situation. So when do you tell yourself that you can still do it? When do you tell yourself that you can still become that, you can still get into that position in life? At this current time, I never imagined that I would be speaking to all of you on a consistent basis, not like the way I do now. That's because I didn't feel as though I had any right to do that. I didn't feel as though I had the capacity to do that. And I didn't feel as though I had it within me to be as consistent as I am with you with this. And so there's something that you need to understand today, that you'll never outperform the story that you keep repeating to yourself. Maurice, what does that mean? So if you keep telling yourself that you can't talk to people all around the world, telling your story, encouraging them, you'll never be that. You'll never be able to overcome what you keep telling yourself you can or can't do. I had to repeatedly speak to myself about becoming this individual, achieving this goal of working in corporate America, getting this position that I can do the job. And not only can I do the job and get the job, but I could do it very well and I can excel in it. And even with the lack of education and or experience, I was able to bring things to that job that others in that position had not brought. Building better relationships with our customers. which ultimately help when it's time for us to sit down and have these talks and conversations about contracts and things like that. Yes, we're in negotiations and we're working things through, but it doesn't feel as hard. It doesn't feel as impossible to come to an agreement. So if you understand who you are and understand what your gifts and graces are you now able to overcome those things that you said that others may say that you're not qualified to do? And is that the mindset that you have when you talk to your best friend? But how about turning that best friend into yourself? Encourage yourself. Speak life into yourself. And understand that you can become your wildest dream. So for myself, I would love to have, horses and cows and everything else. I'm a city boy. That's outside the box. But you can do it too. So don't allow that negative talk to really outperform anything else that you're doing. Change it. Change the narrative. Speak differently. That reinforces your growth. I thank you very much for listening today.
Thanks for listening. Follow Maurice Chisholm on social media to stay connected and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, that will never work. Or will it?
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.